All right, guys, going to be a quick one today. I just want to talk to you guys about perfect cubes. So perfect cubes are pretty straightforward. We're going to be talking about both positive numbers and negative numbers. Positive and negative numbers. Okay, so unlike square roots, when we take cube roots of negative numbers, we get a real answer. So let's just talk about what that means for a second. Now, when we said if we took the square root of -4, that became an imaginary number, right? Because there is no number times itself that makes -4, right? We said this had an index of 2, right? And we said sometimes they write the 2 there, like on your iPhone calculator. But again, we said that 2 times 2 makes 4, and -2 times -2 also makes 4. So this had to have an imaginary root, right? And we said that this was going to be 2i. Okay, so if you're not familiar with imaginary numbers, you don't have to worry about that for now. But the point was this: if you plug that into your calculator, and I'll plug it into my calculator now, that it told you no. That told you no, there is no answer to that problem as far as your calculator is concerned, right? So if I said, hey, what's the square root of -4, your calculator would say, I can't do that. And it says non-real answer. In other words, there's an imaginary answer. It's not a real answer, okay? But we said when you have an odd index, like 3, if I said, hey, what's the cube root of 8? Well, we know the cube root of 8 is also 2, well, because 2 times 2 times 2 makes 8. We said the little 3 there means what number times itself 3 times makes 8, right? But we also said, though, if I had a negative number, I can now take the cube root of that. I can say, hey, what number times itself makes 8? And all you had to remember was that it's the same number here, it's just negative, because we can multiply this right here. We were talking about odds and even numbers, right? That because I'm multiplying it by itself an odd number of times, a negative times a negative is a positive, times a negative will be a negative answer, right? When we start multiplying these things, then we will get a negative. If we had an even number, then we would always get a positive, right? Even number 2 times 2 is 4, -2 times -2 is 4, right? We have an even number of things we're multiplying. Here, since we have 1, 2, 3, an odd number of things we're multiplying, well, we can get a negative, okay? So your task for today is really just to recognize some of the important perfect cubes. So if I said, hey, what's the cube root of 0? Well, it's 0. Why? Because 0 times 0 times 0 equals 0. If I said, hey, what's the cube root of 1? It is 1, because 1 times 1 times 1 equals 1. If I said, what's the cube root of -1, you would tell me that is -1, because -1 times -1 times -1 equals -1, okay? Your other common cube roots, the cube root of 8 is 2. The cube root of -8 is -2. The cube root of 27, and then your next ones are the cube root of 64 and your cube root of 125, okay? So these numbers, if you haven't noticed, are going to get real big real fast, okay? So for the most part, a lot of this is just going to be plugging it into a calculator. So if I said -27, it would be -3. If I said the cube root of -64, it would be -4. And that's the big thing we want to take away from this, is that you're allowed to take negative cube roots. 125 is going to equal -5, okay? So to show you guys how to do it on a couple different calculators, you can choose the method that works best for you. If you're using a TI-AD for any Texas Instruments, even if it's a basic TI-34, you're going to press, I believe it's Math. You're going to go down to number 4 to get the cube root, and now you're going to be able to put in negative numbers. So if I say, hey, what's the cube root of -125? You can say it is -5, and it will give you an answer. So again, that's Math, and I'm going to go down here to number 4. You can either click down here and press Enter, or you can press the number 4. And if I say, what's the cube root of -10,000? negative, was 10 times negative, I'm sorry, negative 1,000. It would tell you that's negative 10, right? And it will tell you other numbers. It will tell you, you know, things like what's the cube root of 5? Well, there is a cube root. This number times itself, whatever it is, will give you 5. So if I raise that number to the third power, it will give you 5. So just like square roots, a lot of these are going to be irrational numbers, okay? But the point is you put it in your calculator. If you are using, oh, I don't know, if I bring up just the regular Windows calculator, I can't bring an iPhone. I know a lot of you guys are using iPhone calculators. If you turn your iPhone calculator sideways, how do I get this into a standard scientific? A lot of times on regular calculators, if you notice, where is my cube root button? Do I not have, are you serious? Does not have a cube root? I got squares, I got square roots, I got, all right, third time. Currency, volume, length, areas, but I got all these calculators. I even do programmer? Oh God, hold on, timeout. Okay, I found it, sorry about that. Again, on your iPhone calculator, one of the things you're going to have to do, how do I clear this thing? One of the things you're going to have to do on a lot of cases on an iPhone calculator is you're going to have to put in the number first. So whereas on a TI-84, you press the square root or cube root or whatever root you want to take, you're going to put the cube root and then put the number, okay? When you want to do it on a lot of scientific calculators or your iPhone calculator is you're going to put in the number first, then you're going to press the cube root button, okay? So it'll be there. So if I said, hey, what's negative, if I said, hey, what's the cube root of -4, again, what am I going to have to do on a lot of calculators is you're going to have to put in, let's put in the number first, we'll say 27, then make it negative, then take the cube root of it, okay? So you might have to work with it a little bit backwards, but you should be able to. I'm sorry I can't bring up an iPhone calculator on the screen. I looked online real quick. I know I paused it. You guys didn't know, but a couple minutes passed. I couldn't find one online. But again, it should be the same kind of protocol on an iPhone calculator. So again, let's say I want to take the square root of -125. I got to put in 125 first. Then I have to make it negative. Then I have to take the cube root, okay? So give that a try. If not, if you guys get stuck with that, again, you can always use Desmos. Desmos has a free scientific calculator you can use. It's pretty user-friendly, and you can bring it up on a touchscreen, so that's really nice. All you have to do is you have to press the nth root, put a 3 in there, and then plug in whatever number you want, so -125, okay? And what you can do is you can actually just leave it like that, and you can just kind of change the number that's in there, and it will give you kind of your answers as you go. Okay. So again, big thing I want you guys to take away today is it's okay to take the cube root of a negative number because we said it has an odd index. Okay. And all you're really gonna have to do is if it's any numbers really larger than this, you're just pretty much gonna plug it into a calculator. Okay. The numbers get so big that they're really hard to comprehend. So anyway, I hope you guys have good luck with that. Try the IXL skill. I recommend it, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.